Hey everybody, me and my boy here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Anycubic wash and cure station. I'm really excited to be able to test it. I've had it for about 2 weeks now. It came shortly after my Anycubic Mega Zero. And we're about to take a look and see what I think about it and my first impressions. Hope you enjoy. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so here's my Anycubic wash and cure station next to my Elegamaros. These are the models that I'm going to be cleaning in this video. And later on today, I probably won't have it in this video, but I have an Anycubic Photon that should be coming today. So this, I'm actually was excited for this for a while, and then I snatched it up on the Anycubic 5-year anniversary sale. It is pretty cool because you can wash and cure with it. The only problem is you have to still let things air dry, but it's a lot easier than using the bucket or the ultrasonic cleaner and then having to rinse it and then having to dry it and then having to cure it in a separate thing. This is all one unit, so I really do like that. Here is the vat for cleaning, the basket for suspending your parts. There's also some brackets that are meant to hold the arm for the Anycubic Photon. I don't have that yet, and they don't fit quite right on the Mars arm, so I just pull the parts off. And here's a little turntable, significantly bigger than the old one. So like I said, we're going to put those models, they're from Despicable Me, it's one of my favorite movies, into the wash and curing station in the Fabuloso, which is what's in this bucket right now. And I think these prints, I'll just do it for 6 minutes when it's anything detailed. You can see like they have pretty good details on them. My poor minion died, so I'm going to have to reprint him. But anything with details, you want to do a little bit longer if you can. And then that minion was probably the fault of the resin. This is like, every time I have anything left, I just dump it into a Gatorade bottle. And I just, like, it's just a mixture of different colors and things. So that's probably what happened. It was probably the resin. But still, those are the ones that are going to get washed. And then I'm also going to do some in the ultrasonic cleaner for a comparison. And then my old curing station as well, just so we can see the difference. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. You can see we have it all together. Also, Agnes broke when I was taking off the build plate. I don't think this resin has much of any structural integrity left, but it's just still work to show the cleaning results. So, select over here. Here's where you select cure or wash. And then the time. So I'm going to do 6 minutes, and you just hit start. And you should be able to see, you can actually see it starting to spin on the bottom. And then once it gets faster, you should be able to see the water. And it moves pretty well. Halfway through, it switches direction. And it also has a safety feature to where if you take the lid off, it stops. So yeah, I took the lid loose. So it won't work unless it's closed. It has a little sensor in the back that detects that. And right here you can hear my only critique. I wish that the basket was a tiny bit higher over the agitator, because every once in a while a little piece of a print will fall down through the mesh. And even though the print itself is still up in the basket, a piece of it might reach and hit the impeller. So that's the only real critique I have. I might later make a bracket that holds it up a little bit higher. But for now it does work very well. And we're going to let this run and let it dry and cure it and see how it looks. Alright guys, so the parts just came out of the cleaner. I have them rinsing off in the sink right now. And then they're going to dry and then get cured. I just wanted to show you real quick just how much resin came out of those prints. They are hollowed out, so there was a little bit inside. But just how much came out into the solution, and then it just settles to the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and flip the camera, and I'm going to show you. See all that? This was brand new solution right before this test. So it took all of that off of those 5 prints. So I just wanted to show that. I think that's pretty neat how much you can actually see it collecting at the bottom, and see how well it actually works. So like I said, we're going to go ahead, finish rinsing them off, let them dry, and then we'll cure them. Those models I'd probably say we're doing the 4-minute cure, but we'll see how they are at that point. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start moving on. Alright, Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the curing. Got to line this base up with the motor shaft. It's the same motor that spins the magnets. Just up front, this resin is definitely a problem. There's going to be little bits here and there because, like you can see, like it's leaking out of the crack. Well, I guess you can't see. It's leaking out of the crack a little bit. So I'm not going to hold that against this cleaner because I know that it does a very good job. But these are the models that I have. So these are what I'm going to use. And I lied, it's actually 4 models, not 5. But the dog and the unicorn came out great. The other two, kind of early demise. Yeah, so you go ahead and you put them on. You gotta put the cover on top because, again, the lights also won't work without the cover in place. Switch it to cure. And I want to cure these for 4 minutes. So we'll click it to where the 4 is lit up, and you just hit start. And you can see there's an array of different UV lights in the back, and then they just spin. Just like with the cleaning, halfway through they turn direction. And then the really cool thing about this, something I had a problem with before, is if you have to go somewhere, like I'm about to leave right now to go meet with my in-laws, you don't have to worry about it over curing because at the 4 minutes it will just shut itself off. It'll just go into standby and you don't have to worry about it. Whereas with the curing station I made before, you have to be there to turn it off. So that's one of my favorite things about this, is that you can just set it and walk away. So it's really good if you have to multitask. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go hang out with my in-laws and we'll see what it looks like when I come back.
One eternity later.
Alright guys, as you can see right up there, the next set of prints is ready, and we're going to go ahead and wash and cure them in my old setup, which I'll show you. So here is my small, it's meant for jewelry, ultrasonic cleaner, and then the solar turntable with UV lights that I designed, and just for the heck of it, it's glow in the dark. This was all showed in a previous video. Sorry, my counter is kind of ugly. I need to get some self-etching primer so the paint will actually stick, because this is a piece of steel and it just doesn't seem to want to stick. You can see up here are the ones from the Anycubic. They all came out pretty good. Again, this is really janky resin, so there's a couple little spots here and there that I'm not going to blame on either machine or either setup to clean. There's some little spots where the resin was almost peeling and it seemed like it was almost like degrading as it was being cleaned. So I'm not going to hold certain things against it, but for the most part you could definitely tell the difference. So we're going to go ahead and take these ones off of the Mars and wash it through again. Same cleaner in the ultrasonic. I forgot that doesn't just turn off. Gotta unplug it, or it has a built-in timer. So we're going to do that. And just as I did with these models, they have to be rinsed off with the water, dried, and then they'll go in the curing station. And generally I do them for 5 to 10 minutes. These lights are a little less intense than on the Anycubic photon, Anycubic cleaning station. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, and then once that's all done, I'll come back and we'll do side-by-side the models from both setups to see how it cleans one versus the other. Just one thing I want to note, obviously this is all one spot. Sorry, this one's all just takes up one footprint and it takes up one plug. The only inconvenience that I have really is that you have to switch back and forth, so it'd be great if you had 2 of these. But then this one, the ultrasonic and then the curing station, you have 2 separate things, 2 separate plugs, and they're both rather small. So I personally prefer the Anycubic station, but we're going to just see what they compare, how they look side by side. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at these side by side. I do apologize if you can hear the printers going. I do have some projects going on my other FDM printers. So the row in the back, we're clean with the traditional ultrasonic cleaner, and then rinsed off and then put in the curing station. My homemade curing station. And this second row was the Anycubic wash and cure station. I think even at that distance you could probably see a difference. First off, a disclaimer, like I said earlier, these were all printed with really old mix match, bunch of different resins, so a couple things aren't perfect on both. And then also, I was out of my preferred cleaner, so I used my backup, and neither one are perfect. Generally, I do find better results with either one of these with the Formula 88 that I showed in my previous alternative to IPA video. So make sure you give that a watch if you want to see some good alternatives. This was done with my second choice, which was the Blue Fabuloso. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look. So these are all from Despicable Me. I don't know if you know, but I like Despicable Me. So here is this model. You can see, I don't know if you can tell with the lighting very well. There you go. There's a decent bit of shine still, even on her shoes, by her ponytail, on her back, her eyes, her face. And I never really noticed that much, but if you watch Wreck-It Ralph, and you got Turbo, the bad guy, her face to me looks just like Turbo in this model, but still, it's a really cute model. And then even down by like this pillow that her face is on, there's a lot of shine there. Versus the model done on the Wash and Cure station, you can just see there, like there's no shine left on the feet, very little on her backside, a tiny bit, maybe on the top of her hair, but not as much as on this model. Again, her pillow's a bit shiny. There was a little bit of mist residue, but her eyes and teeth aren't quite as shiny. And again, this, I put the mark on it so I can distinguish, is the way I used to do it with the ultrasonic cleaner, and this is with the Wash and Cure station. Definitely a win in the department for that one. This one I think is going to be the most obvious, because I clean these both the same way I normally would, same cycle, let it sit for a second, pulled it out, rinsed it in pretty warm water, wiped them down with a rag, let them air dry for a few minutes, and then I cured them. So it's the same procedure for both, same resin for both, same cleaner for both. So this is the one you're going to see the biggest difference. As you can see, it's actually leaking out of my mat, and the Sharpie mark is almost gone. I'm going to be careful not to touch the bottom because that is uncured resin. So that's a definite drawback to doing it just with the ultrasonic cleaner. Now, mind you, if you would have taken the time to do the extra scrubbing, of course you could have gotten that off. That's not the point. And then you can see around his teeth there's a lot of shiny between his ears, near his tail, on his back. There's overall a lot of residual resin. And the reason I say that you shouldn't have to do that is because this model came out of the Wash and Cure station. And this is the one I was talking about that had the defects. But there's nothing leaking out. It's clean, inside and out. Because the curing station, Wash and Cure, it agitates and it makes sure to get all the way around. So you don't have to do that extra step. There's much less shine on his back, a tiny bit near his tail and on his ears, but not as much. A lot less on his face. And then this is like the biggest defect, just right here. There's like, it almost like started flaking a little bit right by that tooth. And then right there in that corner. But that's no fault of the cleaner. Again, this is really old, going in the garbage now, resin. I did not realize it was this bad. And here's for the fluffy unicorn. Honestly, this one isn't terrible on either one, but you can still, hopefully you can tell the difference. This one was the ultrasonic cleaner, and then this one was the Wash and Cure station. Much less shine, like around the horn, around the eyeballs, on the stomach, between the legs. Again, I marked it so you can tell the difference. And while this one's dry, I don't know if you can see it, but a little bit of resin is coming out. So again, and then you can see it's on the bottom. So again, you have to worry about if you're going to hollow your model so you're not wasting extra resin. The traditional method requires a lot more hands-on work versus these I just tossed in, let them sit for a moment, rinsed them off, wiped them off, threw them in the curing station. And these all came out better. And I've had much better luck, again, like I said, with the Formula 88. If you want to use IPA, if you can find some, denatured alcohol, or anything else along those lines, feel free. You'll get very similar results. I do believe that it is more productive with your time to use the Anycubic wash and cure station, sorry. However, you can still get good results on your own. So if you don't have the $130, $140, $150, whatever it is, depending on the sale, to buy the curing station, don't feel like you will not be able to do your models. Alright guys, I really hope I was able to clear up any questions you guys might have had about the value of the Anycubic wash and curing station. Personally, I think it speaks for itself. The difference between the Anycubic cleaned parts and the traditionally cleaned parts. Again, there's no reason that this can't be just as clean as the Anycubic parts. It's just a matter of time investment. You can always be slicing it on the model if you have a small business like I do on the side as well. Always invest that time as wisely as you can. Also, I would much rather spend time taking care of my son, playing with my son, as opposed to playing with resin, trying to get it clean. It's the worst part of resin printing, honestly. So if you can have a machine for the price that it is, that can do a lot of that work for you, in my opinion, I fully recommend it. Again, if you can't afford it, the other way works just as well. It's just you have to invest a little bit more time into getting the parts clean enough. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend the Anycubic wash and curing station for anyone interested in streamlining their process and making it a little easier for themselves. And I'll put a couple links down below for Anycubic and Amazon. Those could probably be your fastest, most reliable sources if you wanted to order one yourself. And yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know down below, and let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Make sure you hit that button right over there to subscribe, and the one right down there to like. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow every day. And yeah, I think that's just about it. Make sure you have a good day. Stay safe out there, and I really hope you enjoyed what the chef had to cook for you today. All right, bye.
I'm out of here.